Now, before I start this video off, I want to ask you a quick question. I want to cover more about Bricks Builder, specifically looking at dynamic content, various different tools and plugins you can use alongside Bricks Builder. But I want to put the question out there to you guys. What would you like to see me cover? Now, like I say, bear in mind, I want to cover the dynamic aspect because there are already great creators out there covering a lot of other aspects about working with Bricks Builder. So let me have some feedback in the comment section below. What kinds of tools, what kinds of designs, what kinds of features you'd like to see me cover in future videos moving forward, and I'll do my best to cover as many as possible. Okay, so with that being said, what are we going to be looking at in this video? Well, we're going to be using Bricks, JetEngine, and JetSmartFilters. This is a kind of introduction to how you can use these in combination with each other to create something similar to what I've got on screen. We've got some filters down the left-hand side that allow us to very easily filter the data that we can see in our kind of loop. You can see we can stack these on top of each other to create more comprehensive filters. We can also come in and do things like use date ranges. So for example, let's just say we want to go from the 1st of February and we'll go through to a little bit later in February, for example, the 10th, hit apply filter. And now you can see we've only got 2 posts. And if we want to, we can come in and apply the post filter for the different categories as well on top of that, to filter things down even further. So all these work in conjunction with each other, very simple to set up, but you may not have actually used these tools in conjunction with each other. And there's a couple of things we need to take into consideration. So I'm going to show you how we can build something similar to this in this video. Now, before we go any further, let me just quickly tell you what I've got installed. We've got Bricks Builder, obviously. We've got JetSmartFilters and JetEngine installed. But other than that, everything else is basically just plain old WordPress. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create some basic information inside a layout, and then we're going to apply some filters to it. So let's come over and create a new page. Let's call this something like Filters Demo. We'll publish this and we'll edit it with Bricks. Now, when it comes to the design side of things, I'm going to fly through it relatively quickly because I don't think you need to see me build everything step by step and style it and all those kinds of things. Pretty sure if you're on dynamic data, you're pretty cool at doing that yourself. So what we're going to do, first of all, is go ahead and add our section in. And as you can see, there's our section and our container. So everything is really basic at this point. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to split this into 2 different columns, one for the filters and one for the actual content itself. So we're coming to our container. We're going to come back to our elements, and we can use either blocks or divs inside here. So for this example, we're going to add 2 blocks in. They're nested inside the container. You can see they stack on top of each other. Select our container, set this to be horizontal. We now have a 50-50 column split. Come to our first block, over into styles and into layout, and we're going to set this to be, let's just say 25%. And then we'll do the block on the right hand side and we'll set that to be 75%. So now we've created a pretty standard layout. Filters on the left, content on the right. So with that being done, the next thing we want to do is to start fleshing out the loop that we're going to use. Now we're going to be using JetEngine options for working with this. So first of all, we're going to leave the left hand block. So we're going to change the name of that. We'll just call this filters block, and we'll rename the right hand column or the right hand block, and we'll name this content block. Just means that when we're working, we can very quickly see exactly what it is we're relating to inside our overall structure. Just makes good housekeeping. Okay, so inside our content block, we're going to go back over to our elements. We're going to add a div inside here. We're going to select that div, and we're going to come over to the width, and we're going to set this to be 50%. With that being done, with the div still selected, close the layout option down and go back to content, and we're going to enable the query loop option. This is going to tell it that we want to create some kind of looping content. Going to come into our query. Inside there, we're going to change this, make sure it's set to posts. The post type, we're going to set to posts as well. We'll leave everything else as it is except for the posts per page, and we're going to set this to be 6 just so we can see how everything kind of stacks up. Everything else can be left exactly as it is. Then we see underneath we've got is filterable. Now, because we've got JetEngine installed, this is or JetSmartFilters, I should say, this is a new feature that's associated with that. If you have Bricks without that installed, you won't see this feature. So we'll enable that, and you can see it says query ID. We're going to leave all of that as it is. This is just telling it we want to have some kind of filter applied to this a little later. We'll do that in a moment. Okay, so with our div selected, we're going to start building out our actual content. So we're going to come back over. This is what we're going to create. We want this image at the top, which is our thumbnail, the title, the author, the post date, and the actual excerpt of content, just so we've got some information on our design. Let's come back over to our builder. We're going to come back over, click on the elements option. We're going to scroll through, and once we get past all the options that are native to Bricks, you'll see we have JetEngine and JetSmartFilters. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this dynamic image and click to add that inside our div. Give it a second or so, you can see there's our dynamic image. This pulls in the thumbnail image. Now you'll notice we have a problem. All the images stack on top of each other, and that's not what we want to do. So we're going to come back to our content block and select it. We're going to come over to the left-hand side. We're going to set this to be flex, and we're going to set this to be wrap. Then we're going to set this to be horizontal, and now you can see that stacks things the way that we want them to be stacked. Now don't worry about this first block. This is kind of just pulling in a kind of placeholder text that we don't need to worry about. This won't display on the front end when we actually go live, so you can kind of ignore that. Okay, so there's the first part. Let's go back now to where we've got our divs and so on. Let's click back on our dynamic image, come back over to the plus. Let's go add a few more of those elements in from JetEngine. So let's close all these down so we can see what we're working with. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in some dynamic field information. So we're going to click to add that in. This now we're going to select it, going to come over to general, and inside there we can now set the source and so on. So you can see this is using post term and so on, which are the sort of the native functions inside WordPress itself. We click to open that up. We've got more options inside here, including things like metadata. So if you have custom meta fields and so on, we can reference it, query variables, options, and so much more. We're going to leave that as it is though for the post term. Then the object field is what data do you want to pull from that source. So click and open that up and you can see there's all the native WordPress options, things like the title, the post slug, post type, and so on. We're going to leave title, that's perfectly fine. We don't need to worry about anything else underneath now because we're not working with any custom meta fields, we're just using native WordPress functions. And if you want to, I'll sort of change anything underneath. You've got filter field output and so on. We'll come back onto those in a moment. What we're going to do though is going to change this HTML div tag from div. I'm going to set this to be H3, which is what we want to use for our headings. And you see that pulls in the global styling. So now we've finished with our title. What we're going to do is we're going to simply right click on the dynamic field and we're going to just duplicate it. Just saves us having to go through a lot of the same process again. We'll select that second entry, come over to the left-hand side. We're going to get rid of the object field. We're going to just delete that from there. And we want to set this to be the author. So we'll drop the list down. We'll scroll through until we find the user and we're going to grab the display name. We'll select that. We'll come to our HTML tag and clear that from there. And we're going to simply set this to be a div. Now we're going to come down to where we've got the options underneath. You can see at the moment it pulls in the name, which is cool, but that doesn't really mean anything. What exactly is that gibberish or what exactly does that relate to? Well, we can come down and we can say we want to customize the field output. Now this opens things up and you can see you've got this little short code inside here, which is the sort of percentage mark and S. That's telling it what to output. In this case, the actual content we want from this particular source and object field. But what we can do inside here is we can add in our own custom information. So we can just pop in author, full colon and a space. And now that actually starts to make sense. And we can also use HTML. So if we want to make this bold, we can just set this to be strong. Close that off before we get to the author's name. So now you can see the word author is bold and the actual content afterwards is normal. So it gives us a little bit of sense of hierarchy. We're going to do the same again. We're going to duplicate that dynamic field. Select the second one and we're going to simply come over, change this from display name. And we're going to set this to be the date that it was posted. So we'll say date. And we're going to come down where it says author and we're just going to change the word inside those strong tags to posted on. And now we have our post data. Now you can see this has a string of numeric information, the date and so on, and the time. And it doesn't really look that nice. So what we can do is, for this example, we can filter the field output. Select that option, and you see you get this callback. Now, that probably means nothing. But if we click to drop down the options, you can see we have a ton of formatting options for how we want this information to be displayed. We can choose format date, for example. And you see now that says February 2nd or February 2, 2023. So you can see underneath we've got the format. This is where we can easily customize that format if it's not the way that we want it. And if you want documentation on how these work, there's a little link underneath to go and check that out. So there we go. There's most of the options inserted. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to just duplicate this dynamic field one more time. What we're going to do is we're going to clear all these options. So you're going to turn these off. We're going to change the HTML tag. We're going to set this to be a P for paragraph. And we're going to come up and change this from date. And we're going to set this to be the option for excerpt. Now, you may not use an excerpt in all of your your designs. So you can automatically generate that by using this option. And that will then take the content from the actual post itself and then kind of create its own pseudo excerpt. And now what we can do is we can customize that. So at the moment, this is using the default value. Let's say we want to set this to be 25 words. And if you want to change the more string, which in other words at the end of those characters. What do you want to have? You could have read more, you could have whatever you kind of want. So you can see this is relatively simple and straightforward to set these various different options up. If you want to reorder anything, you can simply drag them around to get them in exactly the right order. As you can see, I messed things up a little bit there with the post-it and the content. So the next thing you want to do is go ahead and customize the look and feel of this to make it look a little bit nicer. Now, like I said, I'm not going to bore you by making you watch me do this. I'm going to quickly make these changes behind the scene, and then we'll take a look at how we can start setting up the filters to interact with our newly customized and created post loop. Okay, and there we go. There's the styling and everything laid out and set up. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this to make sure it looks okay on the front end. There we go. There's all of our different posts, all 6 on screen at one time. So the next thing we need to do is go and create a couple of filters. Open up JetSmartFilters, and we're going to go ahead and add a new filter in. So you can see inside here, we've got a range of different types of filters that we can pull in, relevant to the data we have created. And you're going to use various different ones inside your particular website designs and different projects and so on. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to call this the checkbox list, and we're going to use this to kind of go and choose the categories. So we're just going to say category list. Doesn't really matter too much what I call this. We're going to choose the checkbox list. We can then choose the data source. You can see we've got both native functions inside WordPress, but also JetEngine functions, custom fields, and so on. So for this, we're going to choose taxonomies because we're going to reference the different post kind of taxonomies that we have in our standard posts. Then we've got the taxonomy we want to use. You can see we've got categories, tags, and so on. So again, we're going to choose categories from here. We're going to leave the union option, but you could choose union or intersection, and this kind of sets up exactly how you want the various different filters that apply one at a time to kind of stack up and work together. Do you want to show empty terms, show only child or current, or group terms by parents? We'll choose the group terms by parents. And you can see if this checkbox is a meta field, in other words, using JetEngine functions, you need to enable this. We're using standard WordPress functions, so we don't need to worry about that. And then we're going to leave everything else there as it is, except for the filter label. And we're going to just say filter posts. And we'll just click on update. So there's our first filter created. We're going to go ahead and add a second one in. This time we're going to say filter by date, and we're going to use the option for a date range. So we're going to choose this date range option. Again, we can choose the data source. We're going to choose the option inside here, which is post date. So we're going to use post. This is going to be a standard post date as part of our normal post type, not, again, like I say, metadata or meta information. There could be additional fields that you add in using JetEngine. Then you can see we've got the date format. We've got month, day, and year. In the UK, we don't do it that way. We do it day, month, year. So we're going to do DD, MM, YY. And then you've got your from and your to placeholder. So we can just simply put from and to inside there. But you can set what you want. If you're working in a multilingual site, you can set things up inside there. And you can see we've got the various different date formats underneath if you want to customize those in a slightly different way. We'll click on update. And we've now created our 2 filters. So what we need to do is hop back into the page we created. We're going to come over into our filters block now, which is our left-hand block. And inside there, we're going to come to the elements option. And again, like we saw earlier on, we can scroll through, or we can filter these by using whatever we want, filter, for example. And then you see there's all our JetSmart filters available, and there's an awful lot of filters inside here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use that simple checkbox option. So you can see we've got checkbox filters. So we're going to click to add that in. You can see that's added in. It says now, please select the filter to show. So when we create those filters, we just need to connect the 2 dots together. So under general, we're going to click inside there, select our filters. So we're going to choose category list, which is the one we've just created. So then this filter 4 says that you're using JetEngine or you're using Bricks Query Loop. In this example, we're using the Bricks Query Loop option. You can choose then whether you want to use Ajax, page, reload, or mixed. In other words, how you want to handle when someone selects something. We're going to leave Ajax because it's a nice interactive way that you make a selection for your filters, and it updates everything in real time. So it's a nice immediate feedback. But you can set that to whatever you want. And you say, when do you want to apply it, on value change, or click an apply button? It's up to you. If you want to put an apply button in, you could do that. And if you hop into styles, you can see you've got options for setting up the items themselves. If you want to adjust how they actually stack up, whether they're rows or columns. You want it to have the checked status. So for example, you might want to set the check status to go red. So when someone checks something, the text goes red. You can easily change then things like the typography, the checkbox, the group filter. All those options are available to you inside here. So you can customize this to get it to look exactly how you want. Again, I'm not going to bore you with showing you how to customize it. You're probably going to be perfectly fine to do this yourself using all the options you're used to. Okay, so there's the first filter setup. The only thing I do want to do is come into the option and say we want to show the filter label so can people see exactly what they're actually doing inside here. Next up, let's go ahead and add in our second option. So again, we're going to just do a search this time for filter. What we can do is we can use any of these options. We want the date range filter, which is the second one we created. We'll click to add that in. Again, same thing again, select it, come to general, choose what you want to use. This is going to be filter by date or post date range, whichever option you created. Filter for, in this case, again, bricks query loop. And you see that now pulls everything in for us. And again, we can set how we want this to work. The colors of various different options. Do you want to show the filter label? We do in this example. Do you want to set the styling up? All those options are again inside here. So we've now created our filters that will apply to our design. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's go and test it out. So here's our page. There's our filters. Let's try it out. So this is now just filtering out for our design news. We want to add another one in for news example. You can see that now adds additional options in. We can get rid of those. We can come into our date range. And again, let's try the same as we did before. Let's say from the 1st of February, and we'll go through to something like the 16th of February this time, and we'll hit apply filter. And again, you can see now there's our dates, February the 7th, February the 2nd. Design news, nothing inside there. Industry news, there's only one item inside there. So the filters are all working as we would expect them to. And this is really just scratching the surface of what you can do combining JetEngine, JetSmartFilters, and Bricks Builder together. But as I said at the top of this video, please do let me know in the comment section down below if you'd like to see me create more content on working with Bricks Builder alongside other tools to create more dynamic websites, expanding the functionality, showing you how to work with these various different tools in combination. Let me know in the comment section. As always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.